Connor Lenahan's first love was sports. As a sophomore at Boston University, his passion has put him in the limelight.
When I came to BU, my original goal was I was like, oh, well, I'd love to get involved with basketball up here somehow, like if it was knowing a player or two. And then I met up with Maurice Watson Jr. and James Kennedy one night. We just kind of became quick friends, and then I kind of got to know everybody on the men's basketball team, and men's and women's basketball are some of my best friends like in my entire life. So I go and I hang around with them all the time.
He's always down to chill, late night party night. Yeah,
They even view me as like just totally belonging as an athlete, despite the fact that I could barely throw a basketball half court.
Connor was born with a bone disorder called osteogenesis imperfecta. Due to a collagen deficiency in his bones, he's extremely prone to fractures and breakage. As a precaution, Connor was advised to wheel through life instead of walking.
I've got two younger brothers. They have like never come close to breaking a bone. Meanwhile, I've broken 11. My brother would play like basketball against other kids, and then I started to become a fan of basketball at my high school. I knew that that was never going to be me, and it of course made me upset because I love sports, but I wanted to find out a way that I could somehow be involved. So I decided, well, if I'm not going to be the best jump shooter at Abington Heights, where I went to high school, I may as well be the best at something else. I had started to play around a little bit, and I found that oh, I actually have I'm not afraid on a microphone and things like that. So in 2010, right at the end of the basketball season, I found out the guy who was doing the public address announcing was on his way out graduating, and I said, Brian, I want your job.
Connor ended high school as the announcer for the men's and women's basketball teams. He also began writing a blog his senior year, ironically named Unbreakable. During his first semester at BU, he penned a piece about how the men's basketball Terriers were starting to feel like family. Weeks later, that piece landed on Dan Mercurio's desk.
I noticed this kid who was rebounding for the guys out of his wheelchair, which I thought was incredible that he would, was willing to do that and be around the team and was that devoted to it. And I didn't put two and two together until about maybe the fourth men's basketball game where I kept seeing him sitting behind the bench. I asked one of the coaches, who is this kid? Is he the team manager? And they said, his name's Connor Lenahan. Here's his story. He's really interested in basketball. He's friends with the guys. And I said, oh, that's the kid whose blog I saw. I brought him in, and everybody in the department fell in love with him right away. He started off doing PA. He filled in for us. We were actually shorthanded. We had someone cancel last minute for a women's basketball game, and so we were super short-staffed, and he said, I'll do it. I've done it before, and we kind of had no choice.
They just handed me a script thick. I used to have a one-page thing for starting lineups, and then I just go with the flow of the game, so this is brand new to me. And I just slipped into the voice and I started doing it.
He killed it, he nailed it.
After my second game day, I texted me and they're like, Connor, we're ready to offer you the ability to be the voice of the women's Terriers for the rest of the year if you want it. And I said, of course I do.
It kind of just grew from there. He's gotten involved in a number of different sports doing PA.
Years ago, people were like, oh, you're never gonna be able to be in organized, play organized sports. But now, as a 20-year-old sophomore, I can say that I've actually been able to be somehow involved in 6 Division I sports.
He's motivated like an athlete. I think he works at his craft like a Division I athlete would work at his craft.
A couple games last year, before the games, he would send us essays about motivation and inspiration and talking about himself. He really tries to light a fire. I mean, he definitely has a part in a lot of our victories.
Part of it must kill him to not be able to physically get involved.
My tool to make an impact had to be a microphone because I couldn't make it be a football or a baseball bat or a basketball. I'm a very fragile person just by nature because, the bones have left me that way. But when I go into the voice, okay, nobody's gonna touch me.
He has that announcer voice.
My hope was by some point in my college career I'd be able to announce a game, and now I'm a full-time PA announcer.
He's our official women's basketball PA announcer this year. So, for a kid to come that far that quick is pretty impressive. He'll tell you his goal is to be the men's basketball public address announcer, which is a role that we usually hire somebody for that's done it professionally for at least 5 or 6 years, the last couple. It's like walking around with the president when I take him to lunch too, because he has to stop 5 or 6 times to shake hands and how are you, what's going on? Did you see the game last night?
He's super outgoing, everyone knows him.
He's funny in his own kind of way, and people just seem to gravitate towards him and love him.
I have this theory called the 3 degrees of Connor Lenahan. Basically, everyone knows someone who knows someone who knows Connor.
I think it speaks to his character. He's just a kid that gets along well with everybody.
His physical appearance may lead people to believe that he's different in some way. It's just not something that anyone who knows him even remotely thinks about. And I think that makes him different.
I've been doing the same announcer voice, but just improving it for now 4 years. So I'm so used to talking in it that I can just go in and out whenever I please. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Boston University's Case Gymnasium, where